On the morning of July 8, 2014, a 28-year-old German man named Lars Mittank walked into Varna Airport in Bulgaria. He had a return flight booked. His ticket was confirmed. By every external measure, he was a young man about to go home. He did not board the flight. Airport surveillance recorded what happened instead. Lars moved through the terminal at a full sprint. He pushed through an exit door. He crossed the car park without slowing. At the airport perimeter, a 2-meter fence topped with barbed wire, he did not stop. He climbed it. He dropped to the other side. Beyond it was a sunflower field. Beyond that, a forest. He ran into it. His passport was still inside the airport. His wallet, phone, his luggage. He left everything behind. Lars Mittank has not been seen since that morning. He would be in his late 30s today. What he was running from has never been established. Lars Mittank was born in Berlin and raised in Itzehoe, a town in the Schleswig-Holstein region of northern Germany. He worked as a technician at a power plant near Wilhelmshaven. He had a long-term girlfriend, a close group of friends, and a particularly strong bond with his mother, Sandra. By every account, he was stable, cheerful, and grounded. On the 30th of June 2014, Lars and 5 friends traveled together to Golden Sands, a popular beach resort on Bulgaria's Black Sea coast. It was his first journey outside of Germany. The first 5 days were uneventful. Friends later described the week as relaxed. Swimming, football on the beach, evenings out. Nothing unusual was observed in Lars's behavior until the final days of the trip. On July 6th, the day before the group was due to fly home, Lars became involved in a physical altercation. At a bar in town, he had a disagreement with a group of other German tourists over football. Lars supported SV Werder Bremen. The other group supported FC Bayern Munich. The confrontation escalated after he separated from his friends. He was away for the rest of that night. He returned to the resort the following morning. He told his friends he had been beaten by 4 men. Accounts among the group differed slightly. Some believed the attackers were the men from the bar, others that those men had hired locals to carry out the assault. The fight left Lars with 2 injuries, a ruptured eardrum and an injured jaw. A local doctor examined him, confirmed the injuries, and advised against flying. Air pressure changes during a flight presented a genuine risk to the eardrum. Lars was prescribed Cefprozil 500, a standard antibiotic, and told to allow time for recovery before traveling. His 5 friends departed on July 7th as originally planned. Lars stayed behind. He booked a room at the Hotel Color, a modest, inexpensive hotel near Varna Airport, and arranged a later flight home once his ear had healed sufficiently. It was a routine adjustment to a holiday plan. Nothing at this point suggested that anything beyond a minor medical inconvenience was developing. On the evening of July 7th, his first night alone at the Hotel Color, Lars called his mother in Germany. The call immediately alarmed her. He was whispering. He told her that people were trying to kill or rob him. He asked her to cancel his credit cards. He said he did not feel safe. Sandra Mittank later described hearing his heart pounding through the phone. The Lars she knew, composed, practical, close to home, was not the voice she was hearing. Hotel surveillance captured his behavior through the night. The footage shows him pacing the corridors, looking out of windows, and hiding inside the elevator for extended periods. He sent his mother texts asking about his medication. During further phone calls, he spoke in a low whisper, as though afraid of being overheard. He referred to 4 specific men who he believed were pursuing him. At 1 in the morning, he left the hotel. He returned approximately 1 hour later. What he did during that hour has never been established. By the time morning came, he had called his mother again. He told her the people pursuing him were getting closer. Sandra, still trying to help her son reach home, booked him a flight for that afternoon and purchased him a bus ticket as an alternative. She also sent him 500 euros. He never withdrew the money. Lars got dressed and left the hotel to make his way to the airport for a medical clearance appointment with the on-duty doctor before flying. What the hotel surveillance showed across that night was a man who could not remain still. He moved through the building at irregular intervals. The corridors, the elevator, the windows. Each movement appeared deliberate, as though he was assessing whether it was safe to commit to any particular space. The midnight departure remains one of the more unusual documented details of those hours. He left the building alone at 1 in the morning and was gone for approximately 60 minutes. He came back. He did not explain where he had been. No surveillance captured where he went. Whether he was acting on a genuine fear of specific individuals, or whether his perception of danger had no basis in the external world, was not something investigators could determine from the footage alone. His belongings remained in the room: the backpack, the passport, the wallet, the phone, the cefprozil tablets, still sealed in their blister pack, not a single dose removed. He left the hotel the next morning without them. Lars arrived at Varna Airport on the morning of July 8th and made his way to the airport medical center. He had texted his mother from the taxi to confirm he was on his way. The on-duty doctor, Kosta Kostov, later described Lars's manner as nervous and erratic. He examined the ear. He told Lars the injury had improved sufficiently for him to fly that afternoon. Lars did not leave the office. He remained in his seat and began asking Kostov questions about the medication he had been prescribed. Then a second person entered the room. A construction worker came through the door. The airport was undergoing active renovation at the time. Workers moved through the building as a matter of routine. There was no objective reason for concern. Lars's reaction was immediate. He began to tremble. He stood up. He shouted, "I don't want to die here. I have to get out of here." He ran from the office, leaving his backpack and travel bag on the floor behind him. Surveillance recorded his route through the terminal. He moved at full sprint, pushing against the flow of passengers moving in the opposite direction. He reached an exit and went through it. In the car park outside, he continued running without slowing. He reached the perimeter fence. He climbed it and dropped to the other side. The footage tracked him until he entered the sunflower field beyond the fence. The camera lost him before the tree line. That was the last confirmed sighting of Lars Mittank. Bulgarian authorities initiated a search of the area within hours. The operation covered the sunflower field and the forest beyond it, deploying K9 tracking units and aerial surveillance across the terrain. The search returned nothing. No physical evidence confirmed that Lars had passed through the area beyond the initial camera sighting. No clothing, no footprints in recoverable condition, no remains. German authorities were notified and coordinated with Bulgarian investigators. The Federal Criminal Police Office became involved and liaised with Bulgarian counterparts through international channels. Lars's mother, Sandra, traveled to Bulgaria. She hired private investigator Andreas Gutig, who checked hospital records throughout the region for patients admitted without identification. That search also produced nothing. Lars's bank account showed no activity after July 8th. His phone produced no further signal. A reward of 40,000 euros was offered for information leading to his location. The case was logged as an active missing persons investigation. The search was eventually scaled back as no new evidence emerged. The most discussed explanation for Lars's behavioral shift centers on cefprozil, the antibiotic prescribed to him by the local doctor after the altercation. Cefprozil is a second-generation cephalosporin antibiotic. It is widely prescribed and generally well tolerated. Its documented side effects include, in rare instances, neurological and psychiatric reactions, acute anxiety, disorientation, and in extremely uncommon cases, a sustained paranoid episode. Some medical professionals commenting on the case have noted that the timeline of Lars's symptoms appears consistent with an adverse drug reaction. The call to his mother on the evening of July 7th, the agitated hotel behavior that followed, and the extreme fear response at the airport the next morning fall within a window where a neurological reaction to the drug could theoretically explain the progression. There is a significant counterfact to this theory. Airport doctor Kosta Kostov stated on record that Lars had never filled his prescription. He had not obtained the medication and had not taken it. Kostov cited this directly when ruling out the antibiotic as a cause of the behavior he observed. The blister pack recovered from Lars's belongings at the hotel confirmed it. Every tablet remained sealed. Not one dose had been removed. The drug theory, as a result, has no confirmed pharmacological basis. Whatever was driving Lars's behavior on the night of July 7th and the morning of July 8th was not a documented reaction to cefprozil. A second position exists. Some investigators and commentators have raised the possibility that the altercation at Golden Sands left Lars with a genuine rational fear of specific individuals, that his belief about being followed was grounded in a real threat, even if his response became disproportionate over time. No evidence has been found to support or disprove this. A third position focuses on the head injury itself. The assault involved both a ruptured eardrum and an injured jaw. Blunt trauma of sufficient force can, in some cases, contribute to acute psychological disturbance, including paranoid episodes, particularly in individuals already under stress. Lars had no documented history of mental illness, but the absence of a prior diagnosis does not exclude the possibility of a first episode triggered by physical or psychological circumstances. No medical examination of Lars occurred after that morning. No confirmed diagnosis was ever made. The altercation at Golden Sands was never fully documented. The identities of the men involved were not established. Whether they had any further contact with Lars after the night of July 6th is unknown. Whether the fear he expressed to his mother reflected a real and specific threat or a paranoid state with no external basis has not been determined. The whispered calls used the word people and the number 4 specifically. Whether Lars was describing real individuals he had seen and recognized in the hotel, or whether these were details generated by a disturbed mental state, cannot be confirmed from the available record. His 1-hour departure from the Hotel Color at 1 in the morning remains unexplained. Where he went, what he encountered, and what, if anything, happened during that hour has produced no answer. Multiple reported sightings have emerged in the years since July 8th. 3 individuals came forward in September 2014, saying they had seen a man matching his description in Varna. A truck driver later claimed to have given a hitchhiker matching Lars's appearance a lift from Dresden to Schildow in Brandenburg in 2019. None of these accounts produced physical evidence. None was confirmed. Lars Mittank remains a missing person. His case is classified as an open investigation under the jurisdiction of German and Bulgarian authorities, coordinated through Interpol. No arrest has been made. No remains have been found. No definitive account of what happened after he entered the forest has been established. His mother, Sandra, continues to maintain an active search. The Facebook group Findet Lars Mittank. Find Lars Mittank has accumulated more than 55,000 members. She has appeared on television in both Germany and Bulgaria to appeal for information. She has stated her belief that he is still alive, possibly living without memory of who he is. As of the most recent verified record, the investigation remains active and unresolved. Lars Mittank arrived at an airport on an ordinary July morning with a ticket home and an appointment with a doctor. He had survived an altercation. He had rested. He had stayed in contact with his mother. He had taken a taxi to the terminal and sent her a text to say he was on his way. By every external measure, the situation was resolving. Something changed between the moment a construction worker walked through a door and the moment Lars cleared a perimeter fence and disappeared into a field. Whatever he saw in that room, whatever that figure represented to him in that moment, was enough to make him abandon everything: his documents, his money, his phone, his only route home. Whether what he perceived was real has never been answered. Whether his fear had a source in the external world or entirely within his own altered state remains an open question. The two possibilities lead to very different explanations, and neither has been closed. The fence is still there. The field is still there. The tree line beyond it has not changed. Lars Mittank has not been found. This is Obscura Case, where every mystery deserves to be remembered.